Welcome everyone. My name is Marsha Benedetti. I use she, her pronouns. And I am from the Office of Talent Development. Talent Development does professional development opportunities for our employees at CSU. So some of you may have attended our classes in the past. If not, I hope you have an opportunity to do so in the future. So just a little background about myself. I actually started at the university after I finished my graduate program, and my first professional job was here in the Lory Student Center. I was the director of, it was called Renters Information, Off-Campus Services, and now Off-Campus Life. So I was part of that, but very much enjoyed my tenure here in the Lory Student Center. So when Emily asked me to come present to you all on this Sunday, it's always like coming home to the Student Center. So I'm happy to be here. Love the Student Center. Let me get a sense of who's in the room, since I know we have a lot of different. How many of you are students? Okay. And the rest are staff, I'm assuming, in any category that I have not missed that I made. All right, so I'm going to talk about this wonderful resource that the university has just invested in, and it does impact both students and staff. And so I'll try and share a little bit from both perspectives, and then if you have more specific questions, please let me know. And I'm supposed to be using the mic now. Sorry, totally forgot that part. And I talk with my hands, so this will be interesting to see how I can keep it here at the same time. All right, so we're going to talk about this new CSU resource, Navigating LinkedIn Learning. So I'm going to start with a quick poll, and if you have your cell phone, I want you to text the number 37607 and the word TD COLO state. Does not matter capitalizations or anything, just TD COLO state to the number 37607, and it's also up here. And then answer this question for me. What's your experience with LinkedIn Learning? Have you used it quite frequently? And I'm talking about LinkedIn Learning, not LinkedIn account. LinkedIn Learning, the online classes and courses that are available. So maybe you've used it multiple times, maybe you've used it once or twice, maybe you've never used it. Have you used other online learning platforms? Open Sesame, Udemy, I could probably Skillsoft, lots of other e-learnings. Or is it a new experience for you? Haven't done that. So I'm just trying to get a sense of what experience people have had as we enter this. Anybody having trouble getting in? Did we all answer the E? Oh, there we go. Did everybody get a chance to vote? And if you can't get in, you can just tell me verbally. So it doesn't look like, according to my survey, that anybody has used LinkedIn. Oh, there it is. A few times. Perfect. Perfect. So you can share your experience as well. All right. So let me start back a little bit. So, gosh, in August, we started having conversations at the provost office about this opportunity to bring LinkedIn Learning to CSU. Now, do I have any journalism students in the room? Because the journalism department actually already had a subscription to LinkedIn Learning, so they were using it for their classes specifically. And I'll tell you a little bit more why in a moment. But we started having conversations, so we did purchase, and we currently have the license for a 3-year contract with LinkedIn Learning. And the reason why you're like, well, if we have the license, why haven't I gotten it yet?
we are in the process of making sure that the integration works well, and we have to secure our single sign-on. And so our IT department has been working through all of those legalities and details in order to make that happen for us. So we haven't officially launched it yet because we want to make that a smooth process. Now, students may already start seeing some of LinkedIn Learning videos show up in Canvas because some of the faculty have already been given access to LinkedIn Learning to embed it into their courses. So you may, especially if you took a journalism class, you probably had embedded LinkedIn Learning courses because they use it a lot for their software technology like Photoshop and those types of things. So you might start seeing it show up in Canvas before you even get the official notice from the rest of the campus that you now have access to LinkedIn Learning. But this is an amazing resource to have available to us. And I want to stress, of course I would stress this based on the department that I work in, this is not in place of professional development and all the wonderful things you have access to as a student to attend and take part in beyond even the classroom or for our staff to take part in professional development. This is an enhancement and an expansion of that. And I'll share with you little different ways that we already have been thinking about of how we can use that as a wonderful resource. So LinkedIn Learning, if any of you, I don't know how long you've been here on campus, but in the early 2000s, we actually had a subscription to lynda.com, which is an online learning platform that actually in 2015 got purchased by LinkedIn Learning. So if you had done anything in lynda.com, you might see some of those commonalities or some similarities in that. As I said, lynda.com got purchased by LinkedIn Learning. And in about, I don't know, 2010 or 11, the university stopped their subscription to lynda.com. What we found is that when we first brought it on campus, it was a high use, and then it kind of dropped off. And so, again, we're really interested as making this investment that we continue to educate people about how to use this resource so that we don't see that same thing happen and then we decide not to continue the subscription going forward. I'm not as worried about that right now. I think we're at a different place at this time about digital learning and online learning than maybe we were, you know, even 5 or 10 years ago. So I don't see that anticipating. But again, if you use LinkedIn Learning and you're liking it, please share that with other people so they know about this resource. It has over 18,000 courses and videos that are available to you. Now that's a little overwhelming for me as a learner, and I am a learner. I love to have different topics, but sometimes that can be an overwhelming thing. The thing I want you to know is that you always want to be filtering when you go in there, thinking about what you're looking for and knowing that there are filters to help you find that more specifically, because you could just type in, you know, leadership and probably come up with 2,000 or 3,000 courses. And so we're going to continue to give you tips and hints on how to use this powerful, robust tool in the best way we possibly can. So what will happen is when we get our single sign-on secured, 2 weeks before we do the official launch, you're going to start seeing a lot of different advertising. You're going to get emails. You're going to see articles in Source that this is now available, and it will start giving you more and more details about how to access it, how to use it to its fullest potential. So know that this is kind of a teaser for sure. We already did the poll. So one of the things we're excited about, and I know these are a little hard to see, they're a little small, is all of the different ways that LinkedIn Learning can continue to help us learn and grow. So you can see it can promote internal mobility. So if there are, other positions or careers that you're looking for, you can start to identify what skills you might need for those and start to take classes in that to help build that skill set to look at internal mobility, or certainly for students, that would be more of, how do I make sure I'm well-rounded in the career that I'm looking for? What skill sets might I need to be thinking about that aren't specifically offered as a course content here at CSU? So that's that second one, increase student career readiness. It's going to give you a lot of other options for you to develop your resume, so to speak, as you begin to prepare for looking for those jobs. It can reduce annual training costs because, again, we're not paying for each individual class for you to sit in. It's a license, so we get that bulk rate. And we can do things like supplement some of the classes that we already teach with some online learning, and we boost the amount of content and skill development we can do by just having access to this wonderful resource. It can increase employee well-being and retention. So there's a lot of the well-being, self-care type courses in LinkedIn Learning. We know how important our mental health is, and so there's all kinds of resources, again, to help in that area. There are tips for new hires, things to help you feel better prepared to join a new team, to work through your onboarding process. So again, looking at all stages of an employee's lifestyle, increasing your productivity, again, allowing you to develop a skill set. When I was first here in the university, our IT or a library used to offer technology classes. Did anybody remember that? So they do things for Excel and those pivot tables that I still don't know how to do. But they used to offer those classes. Well, they don't anymore. They took that service away. But we will have access to those types of technology training in LinkedIn Learning. So again, I can learn how to do those pivot tables and be more productive in my work by being able to have access to this online learning. And I can go back to it because that's what happens is I use it, forget it. 2 months later, I have to figure out how to do it all over again. So I'll have immediate access to it. As I already talked about, it will supplement classroom learning, and the journalism department used it a lot for like their different Photoshop. Here's some things you need to know about Photoshop in order to do your assignment. So they would issue those videos, and people could understand the skills and then be able to complete their assignment. So it will supplement those types of things. And of course, there's leadership and management classes that, again, will be helpful for people who are in that role. Lots of different ways. Tell me which one you're most excited about out of these 7 or 8 that are up here. Any of them? You're like, ooh, yes.
Maybe career readiness, just because I know a lot of us are graduating soon.
Yes. So I know there's all kinds of, resume writing. They actually, of course, there's a course on how to use LinkedIn to help you network and prepare for that job career. So no surprise there that they're, advocating that you have a LinkedIn account. Now, understand, you do not have to have a LinkedIn account in order to use LinkedIn Learning. There will be lots of pieces that will encourage you to use LinkedIn, but you do not have to. So that's a nice piece. They're not tied together. But there will be lots of those types. And as you look at job descriptions and see a skill set, maybe you're like, have a little bit. There are certifications and badges that you can take. And again, that can show up. You can say, look, I've taken this certification. I have this badge for this skill set. So you have something to back up beyond just, oh yeah, I know how to use Python, which I don't even know what Python is, but I know it's one of the popular ones in the technology place. Some of you probably do know what Python is. Any others? Maybe all of them. What you'll find when you get into LinkedIn Learning is they really have these basic 4 libraries. So they have classes in business, classes in the creative area, technology area, and then the certifications. Now, you're also going to find libraries that are curated for Colorado State. What we anticipate to happen is there will be a landing page for students and a landing page for staff. So those libraries will probably look different, of course, because of the needs and demands for those 2 different populations. But let me just give you an idea. I mean, you can kind of get overwhelmed. In business, you can see, I mean, you can go in and you can go in and look and see what skill sets might be important for different roles. So you can click on those roles and they might share with you different skills, and they'll recommend courses that you might want to take if you're interested in becoming a marketing manager. What courses would they recommend? And then again, you can see they have career development classes. And again, you're only seeing a few. It says show all. There are so many. So I didn't want to get us overwhelmed. But just to give you some ideas, the creative, again, even if you know it's not related to your job, you just want to increase your photography skills, there are classes to take in there to advance your creativity. So it doesn't all have to be professionally related. This might be an opportunity for you to expand on a hobby or something else that you're interested in. So don't want you to feel like this all has to be related to your job. Then technology, again, all kinds of areas around technology. The certifications, again, this is just an example. So they have the Microsoft certification, some in project management. Project management is a big skill that a lot of companies are looking for employees to have. In human resources. Again, this is just a small sample, but I want you to kind of give you a taste of what this would look like. These are the ones that are from Colorado State, and as I mentioned, these are all very journalism focused because that's the department that's been using it, so nothing else has been put in. And this will probably look different as it becomes more of a campus-wide. But they'll have selected some courses that they think might be helpful for their students and put them out in this collection area. So there are so many ways we can pull this information. We can curate courses. We can highlight different things throughout. So this is LinkedIn Learning's kind of map of what it might look like for a student's journey to use LinkedIn Learning. Begin looking for some employability skills. It might be communication, it might be team building, all of those kinds of things. And maybe leadership skills, sharpening job seeking skills. How do I, do a job search? How do I build my resume? What are skills that I need for interviewing? So all this kind of thing to help you throughout your journey as a student. And again, we will promote this and give you all these more specific details as we launch this. Just want to give you a highlight. You've maybe are familiar with the career competencies that our Career Center highlights of. These are, the different areas that employers are looking for. Again, this is a good list for you to even go out and look for courses in LinkedIn Learning to help you build those skill sets. Even to help you as you prepare for an interview, thinking about really getting in that mindset of what does creativity look like for me, and how do I show up creatively in the job place. So lots of ways to help you get ready for those types of interviews or preparing yourself for the job. And for our staff's professional journey, there's lots of things. We can do lunch and learn events where we can just bring like-minded people around different topics and have deeper discussions. We can help upskill, like I said, in even our technology skills if we need to upskill. Social impact campaigns, we can look at different topic areas. Like I said, it might be mental health, it might be some type of safety awareness, and we can curate courses that people could take and focus on for that month. We've already talked about the wellness resources. You may, in your performance review, identify specific goals or things that you want to work on. And again, you might identify 3 or 4 courses in LinkedIn Learning that you want to accomplish before your next review, and be able to really connect those dots to those specific pieces of your performance. So as I mentioned, there are so many ways that we can put courses. You can take courses all you want. You'll find curated courses through Canvas. We are going to curate courses through Bridge, which is the employer's learning management system. So we are not going to dump all 18,000 courses into Bridge. That was an option, and we decided that that might be a little overwhelming, and so we're going to curate different learning paths and put them in Bridge. Now you can always go out and take more in LinkedIn Learning because you'll have your own account, but there will be specific ones curated in Bridge going forward. So we're not going to dump all 18,000 because we just felt it might be a little overwhelming. And to do reporting on the other side was going to be kind of a nightmare. Now, I say this, and 2 years from now, we may have figured out different ways to filter and to monitor this a little bit better, and we may change that. And certainly we want to hear from our staff, that's not convenient, that's not working, I don't like it, because we will learn and grow as we continue down this path with this new resource. But for right now, we're going to do it very similar how they're doing it for our students in Canvas by picking certain things and putting them in Bridge, but knowing that you can always go out to LinkedIn Learning and have access to all of them. Any questions about that? Comments? Yeah.
Are they nationally recognized? Are they accredited?
Great question. So I will tell you, they will. LinkedIn says their courses are done by industry experts or leaders, and some of the certifications I've seen are actually, then they have the approval of whatever certificate, like Human Resources has a certification board. These are approved classes through that board. So some of the certifications will be very specific around that. But yes, I do believe that most of them will be of industry expert and they'll be of high quality. I know the journalism department, like I said, because software is always being updated, they're always going out, and LinkedIn Learning always has the most up-to-date new things. And so that's been very helpful for them because they don't have to go searching for all of that. They can go pick it and pull it right out. So it is very well accredited. Yes?
Once this is kind of launched on campus, is it going to be accessed via our net IDs, or do we have to create a whole?
No, it will be a single sign-on, so it will be your net ID, just as you would log into any other system on campus. You will be able to do that, and it will take you right in to LinkedIn Learning. So again, you can connect it to your LinkedIn account if you have one, and so desire. And then any of the courses that you take in LinkedIn Learning will also show up in your LinkedIn account, but you do not have to. I just want to make sure people know it's like we're not trying to force anybody to use LinkedIn. But there, again, you can take courses. There are learning paths. Learning paths are classes that are curated, and they're meant to be taken in a specific order. So again, it might be like a certification or a badge if you're trying to get that. Campaigns might be, again, we might just promote, hey, check out this different wellness class for Wellness Awareness Month. And those campaigns will show up as you log into your LinkedIn Learning account. We'll be able to do our own campaigns, and so we can highlight different things. And again, it might be different for students than it is for staff.
Follow up on that.
So we are thinking that that will be a very much of interest. Like we've already had people from different departments, like accounting may have some accounting classes that they want people to take. So we want to encourage that, but what we not trying to control, we want to help with that. So we have a person in talent development, her name is Deb Colbert, who will be assisting people to help curate, because not everyone will have access. You have to have a certain role. So you may need to go through Deb and say, hey, I'd like to curate this course and then put it into Bridge and then assign it to this certain group. But we, again, wanted to try and see if we could have quality over quantity and not maybe have 5 people that wanted the same things and then we had 5 different versions of the same program out there. So we're hoping that that will help. And again, you may tell us this is too restrictive, it's not letting me use the tool well enough, and that's great feedback for us. We'll figure it out as we go along. But a great question. Yeah.
So then another really quick question
Yeah.
too is students and like state classified have the same access to courses? Like it's just
Yes.
as a state classified,
Yes.
we can take
18,000, whatever is out there, you will have the same access. You will probably have a different landing page because we might want to curate different content for those 2 different audiences. But you will have access to the whole LinkedIn Learning database, full access. Yeah. Yeah, great questions. So yes, this is just kind of this reiterating that I've already said. No, LinkedIn Learning does not require a LinkedIn account. It's free access. Now as a student, I will say this. As a student, if you take certifications and then you leave CSU, there'll probably be like a 3-month period before your account will be cut off. So if you wanted those badges or certificates to appear, you can print them and have that documentation, or you then could create your own LinkedIn account and have it show up in your LinkedIn account. But eventually when you terminate with CSU, whether you graduate or leave, that access will go away. So we've been having conversations all fall semester. We have access to it right now. They did a soft launch. They've have some people across campus playing in it, working with it, waiting for IT to finalize the single sign-on. And early spring, I'm guessing February. Last time we had a meeting was about a week ago, and they were thinking about 2 weeks to get all of the single sign-on pieces done. Then we will launch our campaign. The campaign will be like, okay, in 2 weeks, this is going to be available. So we're going to give you some ramp-up time to know about it. But I would expect by mid to late February, everyone will have access and we will be going full board. Things always take a little bit longer it's not as easy as just turning on the light. Again, we wanted to make sure it was integrating well with both Canvas and our Bridge so that people wouldn't be frustrated by it. So that's what our timeline looks like. I am actually going to just show you a quick, like it's 3 minutes, I think even at the most, video from the course learning how to use LinkedIn Learning, just so you have a sense of the quality. And I will tell you, I've taken other online learnings, and I know that's not my preferred mode of learning. I'm much better. I love to learn in person. But I have been very impressed with the quality of the LinkedIn Learning videos. Again, the courses might be 25 minutes long, but you can go in and just determine what you want to watch and watch a 3-minute video and be done. So that's what I'm going to show you is how wonderful this tool really works. So I'm going to switch over here, hopefully.
On LinkedIn Learning, once you've found a course or video that you want to watch, you can click on it to enter the course page. Let's take a quick look at the layout and features of a course page. Right now I found a course that I want to watch. It's titled Finding a Job. So I'll click on the course title. And this brings me to the course page. Now, the first thing I want to point out is on the left-hand side, we have the table of contents. If I click on this, it will expand it out. And here I can see the different chapters that exist within this course. And if I open them or expand them, I can see the individual videos that appear within the chapter. Now, this is good for a lot of reasons. One, when you're looking for courses, I recommend that you open them up and see what's in the table of contents. In other words, what will they be covering in that course? Another thing is to check your progress as you're going through the course. It's also really useful for just-in-time learning. Let's say, for instance, that you don't want to watch this entire course, but you're looking for information on writing a resume. Well, there just so happens there is a video on that. So I could click here, and it will bring me to that video. So it is very convenient. Now I can hide the table of contents at any time by clicking on that X. And then remember, we can open it up at any time as well. Now in the center of the screen, we have the video player, which we'll take a look at in the next video. But below this, we have 4 important tabs. They are the overview, the Q&A, notebook, and the transcript. The overview page gives you an overview of everything about the course. Here you have who the author is. It will tell you how long it is, what level it's for, when it was released. Below this, you have the course ratings, and you can scroll down to get reviews and comments. Over on the right, they have live office hours with the expert. So if this author has office hours, you'll see them appear in here. They also have related courses. Now up at the top is another very important part that says related to this course. And these are 4 important things: learning groups, exercise files, certificates, and continuing education units. Not every course will have these, but these are 4 things that I'm going to talk about in separate videos. I just want to let you know that they do appear in this overview section. Next, I'm going to click on the Q&A tab. Now, I'm going to talk about Q&A and the notebook in another video, but essentially, Q&A is a way for you to post and answer questions about the course with other learners. And the notebook is a convenient way to take notes on a course that you're currently taking. Then finally, we have the transcript. Here we can see the transcript for any movie that we are watching. And these transcripts are interactive, meaning that you can click at any point within it, and it will bring you to that point of the video. Now, as I play this video, you'll see
there are thousands of resume templates out there, and just as many tips on how to do resumes well. We're going to just
that as it plays, it moves through this, highlighting the area it's on. If I wanted to jump to up here, I can do that. And then it allows me to jump right to that part within the video. So these transcripts are very helpful. Off to the right, here we can type in and search within the transcripts. So let's say I wanted to look for interview. Now I can search in this video, or I can also search in the whole course. So if I did that, it shows me all the different places where the word interview appears in this course. And I can click on that and it will bring me to that video. So this is the course page, and it's something that I recommend you familiarize yourself with. There's a lot of useful information and features on the course page. Next, let's take a look at the video player and its controls.
So again, just
when watching a video on LinkedIn Learning, in the center,
I love that
You can skip to all those different things. I mean, I'm like, that's cool. It's time saving. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You can skip to the part you want to have. I just thought that was really a great feature and wanted to make sure that we could highlight that today. So go back to those slides. Anybody else? I know someone else had said they used LinkedIn Learning. Anything you found about LinkedIn Learning that is very beneficial or you're excited to share with the rest of the group? So those of you who are staff and have access to Bridge, when we start putting courses in, you'll know it's a LinkedIn course because it'll have this little icon in the bottom. So that's how you'll be able to identify it in Bridge, and we'll probably put stuff in the description and the title as well, but it will be very easily identified. And even when you get there, you know, you'll get, it'll tell you how long it is, it will give you a description, it will even give you kind of some of the keywords that you might be looking for, or how you might even search for this course. So they've done a really nice job of getting ways to filter and get really specific about what information you need in those 18,000 courses. All right, so I have one more poll. Can you give me your initial reaction to LinkedIn Learning? A, you're very excited, can't wait to get started. B, it's nice resources to have available. I'm not sure yet, or I don't see myself using this resource, which is totally fine too. Most of us, yeah, you know, and again, I think part of our responsibility will be to continue having it in front of you, sharing with you ways that it's beneficial and how it might be helpful to you, because it can be a little overwhelming in some aspects. So I appreciate that it might seem a little overwhelming at first, but we're going to try and make it a very useful resource. What questions or comments do you have for me? Yes.
I guess I was wondering if we have our own personal LinkedIn account, and then we had our LinkedIn Learning that was set up with the school, could we connect the two and then the certificates would go over to it even after we graduate and it's canceled?
Yes, yes. If you have your LinkedIn Learning, when you first sign in, it's going to ask you, do you want us to connect these two? And you don't have to, but you can. And then yes, anything that you had taken would stay in your LinkedIn account of certifications and badges that you've done. Yes. So I don't know. I didn't ask how many people even just had LinkedIn accounts. I asked LinkedIn Learning, and people have LinkedIn accounts. Yeah. So I mean, again, you will have that option to connect it if you choose to do so. Other questions? Yes.
Just if you know, how much would LinkedIn Learning cost once it is no longer provided through the university after we graduate?
That is a great question, and I don't know.
I just saw your first bullet point up there. It looked like it actually said you needed premium to access learning. It was like on that slide.
Yeah, so we have the premium one.
You
So.
guys are paying for premium access, so really whatever premium costs.
But I do not know how much it costs. I have not ever, yeah, it's not free. I know that, but I don't. 300. So it's a nice benefit for sure. Thank you for looking that up. I appreciate that. Well, and I was like, I should have looked that up. I just didn't. Yeah, and like I know like some of the other online platforms you can pay for just individual courses, but those can be anywhere from $30 to $200. So, it just depends on what the topic is and what the carrier is. So it is an amazing value for sure. Thank you for looking that up. Other questions? We also, for the staff, if you had questions about using the Bridge My Learning application, I'm happy to stay and answer any questions that you might have about the learning management application Bridge for staff. But I also realize as a student you might not care about that, so we can keep those till the end if you would like to ask any questions about Bridge. Otherwise, I think I'm done a little bit early. I'm sorry. about that, but this is all I can, as much as I can do at where we're at this point. But I'm hoping you're excited about the opportunities that are available, and certainly as staff, if you have questions, talent development will be a great resource, and I know that they'll have a resource for students. I'm guessing it will probably be in Tilt, but I don't know that per se. And I also know students are a lot more savvy than I am. They don't usually need as much assistance, but we'll be happy to help you as we continue on this journey. There's also, we will be able to pull all kinds of analytics, so we'll be able to know what classes are popular, where people are focused, and again, that might be, here's the most popular class from last year if anybody else wants to. So we'll be able to pull lots of analytics and get information about where people are focused. That will also be helpful for us, is just knowing what topic areas people are interested in, how we continue to support you in those areas as well. Any other questions, comments?
So just to confirm, you're
Yes.
saying like the spring, around February is when you'll start announcing
Yes. The hard launch campaign, and like I said, I wish I had a definite date for you. I do not. But we are very close. Like I said, I would anticipate mid-February to late February at the latest. If you don't see it by late February, you can email me personally, and I will get you more information. But I can't imagine that it would take that long.